Noah Carter was a desperate single dad, running out of options and hope. 12 babysitters had come and gone, each one defeated by his daughter's silence and fear. Then came a mysterious woman who somehow reached Sophie in ways no one else could. Just when life started to feel whole again, his ex-wife showed up, pointing at the nanny and screaming, "She's my sister," in a single moment. Everything crumbled. What if the person who healed your child was hiding the very secret that could break you? Stay with me, because what unfolds next will test every belief you hold about love, truth, and redemption. Noah Carter stood in the kitchen at 6:30 a.m., staring at a piece of paper that could be called his surrender letter. The carefully written words in his 5-year-old daughter's handwriting read, "Daddy, I don't want anyone else in our house anymore. They scare me. 12 babysitters, 12 rejections." Sophie either hid behind furniture, threw tantrums, or simply refused to talk until all the caregivers gave up and left. The kitchen around him told the story of a man trying his best to stay calm. Unwashed dishes piled up in the sink, coffee stains on the counter, and a child's drawing on the fridge, showing 2 stick figures under a storm cloud. Sophie was alone, fighting against the whole world. His phone rang. Another message from his boss. "Carter, you've missed 3 client meetings this month. We need to talk." Noah's hands trembled as he read it. Without a reliable babysitter, his job at the architecture firm was slipping away. Without a job, he couldn't provide for Sophie. It was a seemingly bottomless spiral. Then his phone rang. "Hello, Mr. Carter. This is Maya from Sunshine Monastery Center. I've heard about your special situation. I have a proposal that might interest you." Her gentle, melodic voice, tinged with mystery, made Noah pause. But the woman on the other end was about to make Noah an offer that seemed too good to be true, because when something feels like fate, sometimes it's really a carefully orchestrated plan. What Maya said next could save his family or destroy it completely, and Noah had no idea he was about to face his greatest salvation and worst nightmare right at his doorstep. "I don't take just any babysitting jobs," Maya continued, her voice carrying a strange confidence for someone responding to a desperate father's plea. "I only work with children I feel a connection with. I need to meet Sophie first." Noah frowned. In 3 months of interviews, no babysitter had ever set conditions. They were usually eager to start immediately, craving a steady job. This was different. This seemed deliberate. "I don't understand," Noah said. "You don't want to know about salary, schedule, responsibilities." Maya laughed, and the sound created a strange feeling in Noah's chest. It reminded him of wind chimes on a peaceful morning, something he hadn't felt in 8 months. "Those details aren't as important as whether Sophie and I should work together. Trust me, Mr. Carter. I have a gift with hurt children." The word hurt hung in the air. How did that stranger know Sophie was hurt? Noah had been careful in his ad, only mentioning that his daughter was shy and wary of strangers. "When can you come?" he found himself asking. "This afternoon, 200 p.m. And, Mr. Carter, don't prepare Sophie for my visit. Children react more authentically when they are not coached." After hanging up, Noah stared at the phone. Something about the conversation felt arranged, as if Maya knew more about their situation than she let on. But desperation made risky decisions the only option. Exactly at 2 p.m., Noah's doorbell rang. The woman standing on his doorstep carried a wooden box filled with secrets and a connection to his past that would soon turn his world upside down. Because My Lane isn't like a typical babysitter's. She knows things about Sophie that no stranger should ever know. Someone who seems to understand her daughter's heart in an almost supernatural way. But supernatural connections can be dangerous. And Noah is about to discover that some people don't just walk into your life by accident. They enter with a purpose to either heal or destroy you. Maya Lane was not the person Noah expected. She was petite, probably in her mid-20s, with simple black hair tied in a ponytail and warm brown eyes that seemed to see everything all at once. She wore jeans and a cream sweater, holding an old wooden box that looked more like a keepsake than babysitting supplies. "You must be Noah," she said, extending her hand. When her fingers touched his, Noah felt a jolt of electricity that made him instinctively step back. Maya's eyes widened slightly, as if she felt it too. "Come in," Noah said, leading her into the living room where Sophie was supposed to be playing but was actually spying from the stair corner. Maya didn't call out to Sophie or try to coax her forward. Instead, she sat cross-legged on the rug and opened the wooden box in front of her. She took out a small cloth doll with button eyes and yarn hair. "This is Emma," Maya said to the empty room, knowing Sophie was listening. "She lives with me because her dad has to work, and she's afraid to be alone. She's looking for a friend who understands what it feels like to miss someone you love." Noah watched in surprise as Sophie stepped closer, drawn by something in Maya's voice that broke through her usual defenses. "Does Emma miss her mom?" Sophie whispered, barely audible. Maya turned to the little girl with boundless tenderness. "Every day. But Emma has learned something important. Missing someone doesn't mean you can't love someone new." Sophie took another step forward, and for the first time in 8 months, Noah saw his daughter's shoulders relax. As Noah witnessed this magical, unbelievable bond forming between Maya and his daughter, he felt something he thought was dead, forever hope. But he didn't know that Maya's presence in his home was about to force him to face the most painful chapter of his past, because in just 7 days, Maya would do something that seemed impossible. She would make Sophie trust again. She would make Noah's house feel like a home again. She would make both of them believe in love once more. And that's exactly when his ex-wife would return with a truth that could shatter their newly found happiness forever. The question is, when the truth finally comes out, will love be strong enough to survive the betrayal, or will Noah's heart break twice, once from abandonment and once from deceit over the next week? Noah found himself studying Maya like a puzzle he couldn't solve. She seemed to know things about Sophie that no stranger should know. Sophie liked heart-shaped pancakes. She was afraid of storms, but calmed down when listening to classical music. She had a mild, runny nose that could turn into asthma if not carefully monitored. "How did you know to bring her inhaler to the park?" Noah asked one evening as Maya was getting ready to leave. Maya paused and packed her things, her usually calm face flickering with something for a moment. "Kids with anxiety often have respiratory issues. It's very common in my field." But that wasn't the only mystery. Sophie started calling me Miss May, which gave Noah a strange sense of familiarity. His ex-wife, Ava, had mentioned years ago that he had an older sister, but they had never met. The sister had distanced herself from the family, gone abroad to study. Something like that. The thought was absurd. Of course, Maya was just a caring babysitter with a great instinct for children. Noah had seen connections that didn't exist because he was grateful, maybe even developing feelings he shouldn't because he was growing those feelings. The way Maya hummed while folding clothes for Sophie, how she left little drawings on the kitchen counter, stick figures of 3 people under a rainbow, the way she looked at him when she thought he wasn't watching, her face seeming both longing and sad. One evening, Noah came home to find Sophie asleep on the couch, her head resting on Maya's lap, while Maya gently stroked her hair. The scene was so intimate, so peaceful, that Noah's chest tightened as if something he thought was broken forever was somehow mending. Maya whispered that she'd had nightmares about storms. Not wanting to wake Sophie, I told her the rain was just the sky washing itself clean to welcome tomorrow. Noah sat in the armchair opposite them, watching the woman who had somehow brought light back into their home. "Maya, I have something I want to ask you, and I want you to be honest with me." Her hand was still resting on Sophie's hair. "What is it? Have we met before? Because sometimes when you look at me or when you're with Sophie, it feels like you're remembering something rather than experiencing it for the first time." That question hung between them like a bridge neither was ready to cross, opening the way for revelations that would change everything. Maya's silence stretched too long, confirming Noah's suspicion that she was hiding something. But before he could press further, Sophie stirred in her sleep, murmuring, "Mom," and both adults froze. "She's still dreaming of Ava," Noah whispered softly as he carried Sophie upstairs. Although Ava had left 8 months ago, Maya followed them upstairs, and Noah noticed she moved through his house with familiarity, avoiding the creaky floorboard on the 7th step, knowing exactly which door was Sophie's without being told. As Noah tucked Sophie in, Maya stood by the door, and he could swear the little girl's eyes were glistening with tears. She looked so much like Maya at the beginning, then stopped. Like who, Noah asked, but Maya turned away. The next few days saw a shift in their dynamic. The carefully maintained professional distance Maya had kept began to crumble. She started staying for dinner when Noah invited her, helped Sophie with a kindergarten family project, sat close to Noah at the kitchen table so he could smell her perfume, a soft, familiar scent. One evening, while Sophie played in the garden, Noah and Maya found themselves alone in the kitchen, preparing dinner together. Maya was the one to break the comfortable silence. "Noah, can I ask you a personal question?" He nodded, focused on chopping vegetables but fully aware of her presence beside him. "After Sophie's mother left, did you see this coming?" The question was too direct, too personal, catching Noah off guard and making his knife stop mid-cut. "Why do you ask?" "Because I've seen the photos around the house, the ones you haven't taken down yet. You look happy. Sophie looks happy, and I can't understand how anyone could ignore that." Noah put down the knife and turned to face her. Maya leaned against the counter, arms crossed, but her expression was vulnerable in a way he had never seen before. Ava said she felt trapped, that motherhood was suffocating her dreams. She wanted to move to Paris, start over, become someone new. Noah's voice was cautious and measured. "I thought we could work it out, go to counseling, find a compromise. But one morning, I woke up and she was gone. Just a note saying she couldn't be the mother Sophie needed." Maya's eyes brightened. "That must have been terrible." Noah admitted the worst part wasn't losing Ava. He was surprised at his own honesty. It was seeing Sophie waiting by the window every day for 3 months, believing her mother would come back. The worst part was feeling like he wasn't enough to make either of them want to stay. As Noah shared his deepest pain, neither he nor Maya realized they were standing on the edge of a truth that could destroy everything they had built together. That night changed something fundamental between Noah and Maya. The professional boundaries completely disappeared, replaced by something deeper, more dangerous. Maya started staying later, helping Sophie get ready for bed, gently talking with Noah after Sophie was asleep. "You're not just a babysitter anymore," Noah said one night as they sat on the porch watching fireflies dance in the garden. "What are you to me?" Maya asked softly. Noah looked at her, really looked, and saw a woman who had brought peace to his chaos, who had made his daughter smile again, who somehow had begun to heal hearts he thought were broken forever. "Family," he said, and he meant it completely. Maya's reaction wasn't what he expected. Instead of smiling, tears streamed down her cheeks. "Maya, what's wrong?" Noah reached for her hand, but she pulled away. "I need to tell you something," she whispered. "There's something I should have told you from the start." But before she could continue, a car pulled into the driveway. The headlights flooded the porch, and Maya went pale. "Who is that?" Noah stood up and asked. Maya stepped back toward the door. I have to go. I have to go right now." "Maya, wait." But she grabbed her purse and ran to the car parked at the end of the street. Noah watched her drive away, confused, just as a car door slammed shut. A woman stepped out of the expensive car, tall and elegant in designer clothes reflecting the porch light. Even in the dark, Noah could recognize that silhouette anywhere. Ava, his ex-wife, was back, confidently walking toward his front door like she truly belonged there. The collision of Noah's past and present was about to ignite an explosion threatening everything he had found with Maya. "Hello." Ava's voice was exactly as he remembered, calm, composed, with the soft tone she developed living in Europe. "I hope you don't mind me stopping by unannounced." Noah's mind was spinning. "Ava, what are you doing here? You can't just show up after 8 months like nothing happened." "I came to see my daughter," Ava said, stepping into the light. She looked different, more refined, more polite, but somehow less grounded than Noah remembered. "And to meet the babysitter I keep hearing about." "Maya." Right, Noah's blood turned to ice. "How do you know Maya?" Ava smiled, but it wasn't a kind smile. "Oh, no, you really don't know who you've been leaving Sophie with, do you?" Before Noah could react, Ava pushed him inside the house. She moved through the rooms like she was inspecting them, picking up Sophie's drawings, examining the small changes Maya had made, flowers and vases, books arranged in different ways. The warmth of a home truly lived in. "She's very busy," Ava commented, stopping at a photo on the mantel. "That's new. Noah, Sophie, and Maya at the park, all smiling. Maya must have asked a stranger to take it." "Ava, you need to leave. You can't just come back into our lives whenever you want." "Our lives." Ava turned, raising an eyebrow. "Your life with my sister, is that really your life with my sister?" Those words hit Noah hard. "What did you just say, Maya Lane?" "My sister Maya, the one obsessed with the idea of family since we were kids, the one who always wanted what you have." Ava's voice sharpened. "Do you really think her showing up here was a coincidence? That she was perfect for Sophie? From day one, Noah felt the world tilt around him." "You're lying." "Are you lying? Think about it. Noah, how does she know exactly what Sophie needs? How does she know about the asthma, the nightmares, all the little details you never put in your babysitter ads?" Ava stepped closer, her voice a whisper. "Because you told her. Because Maya has been asking about Sophie since you left." The room began to spin. Every conversation with Maya, every moment of connection, every touch like fate, all took on a new, darker meaning. She was playing, playing a long game to get close to Sophie, to be close to the life I had left behind. Maya wouldn't do that. But even as Noah objected, the pieces fell perfectly into place. Maya's familiarity with the house, her understanding of Sophie's needs, the way she flinched when he asked if they had met before. As the harsh truth crashed down around Noah, he was about to make a decision that would change 3 lives forever. The soft footsteps on the stairs interrupted Noah's chaotic stream of thoughts. Sophie appeared at the top of the stairs, rubbing her eyes, drawn by the voices below. "Dad, what's going on?" Then Sophie saw the woman standing in their living room, and her whole body froze. "Mom." Ava's expression softened for the first time since she arrived. "Hello, sweetheart. Mom's home." But Sophie didn't run to her mother as Noah had hoped. Instead, she pressed herself against the stair railing, looking small and scared. "Where's Miss Maya?" Sophie asked, looking around the room. "I want Miss Maya." "Sophie, come to Mom," Ava said, opening her arms wide. "No," Sophie said firmly. "He's gone. He left you and Dad. Miss Maya didn't leave." The rejection hit Ava like a slap. Her face stiffened as she turned to look at Noah. "You see, this is what happens when you let strangers raise your child." Sophie didn't even recognize her own mother. "Maya isn't a stranger," Noah told himself, even as doubt overwhelmed him. "She's been taking care of Sophie for weeks," Ava corrected, saying she had been lying to her little sister for weeks. "Did she tell you about the letter she wrote to me, about how she begged me to let her see Sophie, about how she's been watching my family since I left?" Noah's chest felt like it was collapsing. Every happy moment from the past month suddenly seemed fake. The connection he felt with Maya, the growing love he once feared naming. Was it all manipulation just then? Maya's key unlocked the front door. She came back, maybe to grab something she forgot in her rush to leave. She stepped into the living room and froze when she saw Ava. "Hello, sister," Ava said sweetly with a mischievous tone. Maya's face went pale. She looked from Ava to Noah, and Noah saw his own pain reflected in her eyes. "Noah, I can explain." Explain what? Noah's voice was hoarse with betrayal. "Explain how you lied to me from the moment we met. Explain how you used my daughter to get revenge on your sister." "It's not like that," Maya whispered, tears streaming down her face. "I never wanted this to happen, but it did," Noah said, heartbroken. Even anger burned inside him. "You made this happen. You manipulated us, both of us." Sophie began to cry on the stairs, overwhelmed by the adult emotions swirling around her. Maya instinctively moved toward the little girl, but Noah stepped between them. "Don't," he whispered. "Don't touch her. Please leave." As Maya left the house seemingly for the last time, none of them realized the truth was far more complicated than anyone knew. In the 3 days after Maya left, Sophie barely spoke a word. She pushed food away, refused to play with toys, and spent hours sitting by the window where she usually waited for her mother to come home. She finally began to heal, but was hurt once again. Noah wasn't doing much better. He took time off work to care for Sophie, but most of the time he found himself staring at the small changes Maya had made to their home. The cheerful drawings on the fridge, the way she arranged Sophie's books, the flowers that had begun to wilt. On the third day, Mrs. Henderson from next door knocked on their door. She was 72, had lived in the neighborhood for 40 years, and was known for knowing everyone's business, usually in the most helpful way possible. "Noah, my dear," she said, sitting down with the authority of someone who doesn't accept no for an answer, "we need to talk about that girl. Mrs. Henderson, I really don't want to discuss this." She continued as if he hadn't said anything. "The one your ex-wife said is a liar and manipulator." Noah looked up sharply. "Ava spoke to you." "Oh, yes. She came here yesterday. She wanted to know all about the time her mother was here, what she did, how she behaved, and whether I thought she was trustworthy to babysit." Mrs. Henderson's eyes were very keen, but the funny thing is, Ava seemed less concerned about Maya's character and more interested in how much money you've been making lately. Something cold surged in Noah's stomach. "What do you mean?" Mrs. Henderson reached into her purse and took out a tablet. "I may be old, Noah, but I'm not stupid, and I don't like seeing good people destroyed by lies." She turned the tablet toward him. "I've done a little digging on your ex-wife." The screen displayed a social media profile. Ava looked really glamorous in a series of photos taken at expensive restaurants and luxury hotels, always accompanied by an older man in an expensive suit. "Meet Richard Blackstone." Mrs. Henderson said she is 62, recently divorced, with assets around $12 million. Ava has been living with him in Monaco for the past 6 months. Noah stared at the photos, but she said she wanted to come back, that she made a mistake. "Oh, she made a mistake. All right," Mrs. Henderson said sternly. "Richard's ex-wife just won a huge settlement in their divorce. She took half of his assets. Ava's food stamps are running out, and she needs a backup plan." She swiped to another screen. "This is the note on her phone, which my grandson accessed. He works in cybersecurity." She added with a mysterious wink, "Look at these calls." The phone log showed dozens of calls to lawyers specializing in custody battles, all made after Noah's recent promotion was announced in the local business magazine. Mrs. Henderson gently said she was planning to fight for custody of Sophie, not because she wants to be a mother, but because she needs child support money. Noah felt nauseous. "But Maya," the things Ava said about Maya. Mrs. Henderson's expression softened. "Let me show you what really happened, sweetheart." The truth about Maya's appearance in their lives was about to shatter everything Noah thought he knew. Mrs. Henderson opened another set of documents on her tablet. This is Maya's work history at Sunshine Monastery. She worked there for 3 years, specializing in treating children with attachment disorders and trauma. Noah leaned forward, studying the file. Maya's references were impeccable, her expertise very high, and client testimonials excellent. But the most important thing, Mrs. Henderson continued, was this. She showed him a medical record from 6 months before Maya started working for them. Maya had a car accident last year, severe injuries, requiring months of physical therapy. She was unable to work for nearly 8 months. "I don't understand," Noah said. "The accident happened 2 weeks after Ava left him." Mrs. Henderson patiently explained. Maya was driving to a friend's house to visit Sophie when she heard the news about their breakup. She never made it there. A drunk driver crashed head-on into her car. Noah's hands trembled as he processed this information. Maya was on her way to help Sophie. She had been asking Ava for months to let her see Sophie. Maya lost her parents when she was young. She understood what it felt like to be abandoned. When Ava left, Maya couldn't contact you directly. She was trying to find a way to help. Mrs. Henderson pulled out another document. This is Maya's therapy intake form while she was recovering from the accident. The injury wasn't just physical. Noah. She blamed herself for not being there when Sophie needed her most. Noah's throat tightened. "So, when she took the babysitting job, she didn't know it was you," Mrs. Henderson said firmly. "The company deliberately kept customer information confidential until after the first meeting. Maya thought she was just helping another family in trouble. It wasn't until she saw Sophie that she realized who you were. So why didn't she tell me the truth?" Mrs. Henderson's smile was sad but full of understanding because she had witnessed Ava abandon that little girl. Maya was very afraid that if you knew who she really was, you would think she had hidden motives and sent her away. She couldn't bear the thought of Sophie losing someone she once trusted. Noah buried his head in his hands. "What have I done? You protected your daughter the best way you knew how." "Mrs. Henderson said gently, "But Noah, that girl loves Sophie like her own child. And unless I'm mistaken, she loves you too." When the truth was finally revealed, Noah faced the most important decision of his life. Noah found Maya at the small park where she often took Sophie for walks, sitting alone on a bench, holding the fabric doll, Emma. She looked up when she heard his footsteps, and Noah saw she was crying. "Mrs. Henderson told me the truth," he said as he sat beside her. "About the accident, about the real reason you came here." Maya's voice was barely a whisper. "I should have told you from the start. Noah, you should agree, but I understand why you didn't." They sat silently for a while, watching the kids swing while their parents sat on nearby benches. This was the normal family scene Noah had always dreamed of having again. "Maya, I have something to ask you. I need you to be completely honest with me." She nodded, still clutching the doll tightly. "Do you love Sophie more than your own life?" Maya answered without hesitation. "She is everything good and innocent in this world. Taking care of her has been the greatest honor of my life. And do you love me?" Mom held her breath. "Noah, please, I need to know." Maya turned fully to face him, her brown eyes shining with unshed tears. "Yes, I love you so much it scares me. I love how you make heart-shaped pancakes because Sophie asked you to. I love how you read her 3 stories every night, even when you're exhausted. I love how you sing off-key in the bath and save all of Sophie's artwork, even when it's just scribbles." Noah felt his heart swell inside his chest. "Maya, I've been angry for 3 days, but beneath that anger, there was something else. I was in so much pain thinking I had lost you. Both of us, Sophie and me. We need you. But Ava is Sophie's biological mother. But you're the one who's been here. You're the one who knows Sophie needs exactly 4 stones in the water and that she's afraid of the vacuum cleaner. You're the one who taught her that rain is just the sky washing itself clean." Noah took Maya's hand. "You're the one she calls when she has nightmares." Maya's tears now flowed freely. "I was so afraid you'd never forgive me." Noah admitted that he was afraid too. Afraid to trust someone again. Afraid of Sophie bonding with someone who might leave her. "But Maya, you've proven you won't walk away. I came back even when I thought you hated me." As Noah and Maya finally faced their feelings, another voice needed to be heard. Miss Maya. They turned and saw Sophie running through the park, escaping Mrs. Henderson's watchful eye. The little girl threw herself into Maya's arms, holding on like she would never let go. "I knew you'd be here," Sophie said, then stepped back to look seriously at her mother. "Daddy is sad. I'm sad, and Emma is sad too." She held up a fabric doll. "We need you to come home." Noah looked at Maya kneeling down to Sophie's level. They were close in the conversation Noah couldn't quite hear. Then Sophie nodded solemnly and grabbed Maya's hand. "Daddy," Sophie said with the seriousness only a 5-year-old could have, "I want Miss Maya to be my new mom. Not the old mom who left. Miss Maya, please stay." Maya looked at Noah with surprise, hope, and a pure love that took his breath away. "What do you think?" Daddy Sophie asked. "Can we keep her?" Noah smiled, feeling a relief he hadn't felt in months. "I think that's the best idea you've ever had, sweetheart." As they walked home together, Noah carried Sophie, Maya held baby Emma, and they all held hands, forming a chain of connection. Noah realized that sometimes the most beautiful endings come from the most broken beginnings. 3 months later, Noah officially made Maya Sophie's guardian, not because Sophie needed more parents, but because family is built on love and choice, not just biology. And on quiet nights when Sophie was asleep and Maya hummed while folding clothes, Noah understood that some people don't just enter your life, they complete it. Maya was right about the rain. Sometimes the sky needs to be washed clean so tomorrow can be beautiful, and their tomorrow was the most beautiful thing Noah had ever seen. Love doesn't end in pain. It transforms into something stronger, something that knows its own worth. And sometimes, the person who is meant to heal your heart shows up in your life just when you're brave enough to let them stay. You deserve a love like that too. Through this story, we're reminded that healing often comes from the most unexpected places, and sometimes, the very people we once considered strangers end up becoming the family our hearts have been longing for. Noah's journey wasn't just about finding the right person to care for his daughter, it was about opening his heart again, facing his past, and learning that love can arrive wearing the face of redemption. Sophie's trust, once broken, began to mend not through force or grand gestures, but through gentle consistency and quiet understanding. And as for the woman who stepped in when no one else could, her strength didn't lie in what she revealed, but in what she silently carried, choosing love over fear every single day. If this story moved you, take a moment to show your support for Noah and Sophie. They represent so many families out there who are fighting silent battles, those who are just one act of kindness away from hope. Would you have made the same choices? What do you think Noah should do next? Confront the past or embrace the future as it unfolds? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And if you believe in the power of love, second chances, and stories that heal, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Touching Tales Hub. Every click helps us keep sharing the kinds of stories that touch hearts and change lives.